It is 2 a.m. Monday morning. I have tape on my brand new glasses, and I am recording a Raid Shadow Legends video right now. Now, you may have questions. Why, Colred? Why? Why are your glasses broken? Why are you recording a video right now? And to answer your first question, this is what happens when you have a baby. Now, it's not his fault. I'm not blaming him. I broke the glasses, but I was trying to juggle him and all his stuff and get out of the car, and I squished them, and that's what happens. And so I have a pair of replacement glasses coming. They should be here in a couple of days. And I bought insurance on those. So if they break, I'll get a free replacement. I didn't do that on these. I should have. Lesson learned. Let me pass that on to you. If you ever, I don't know, buy eyeglasses on the internet, you can like insure them for a year for $4 or something. Do it. Do it. It's worth it, especially if you have kids. Now, as far as the video is concerned, I want to talk about something that we've been talking about for a few months on this channel, but it's really been going on for a long time, which is the joke that we call Raid Shadow Legends, Wait Shadow Legends. And that's really become like, there's an extreme version of that idea that I think is currently in place. We've been seeing it for the last couple of months, and it is in effect with this Path of Spring event. And this is why I have waited. I am, in fact, going for the Lysanther fusion, but this Path of Spring is also going on, and there's a 2x Sacred Shard event along with a progressive event, which is really interesting. Those don't typically happen together. So really, there's a lot of benefit going on right now in pulling shards for the Path of Spring. Now, a lot of us suspect this. You may have suspected this. We talked about it. But it has worked out to be massively advantageous to have skipped the Summon Rush and done this event instead. And I'm going to walk you through that, and we're going to talk about exactly what that advantage turned out to be. Like mathematically, you can put a number on it. You can put a number of shards on it. And then, hopefully that will help us plan in the future. But who knows? It would be nice if Plarium just gave us this information. Like, they're doing this nice thing, but they make us wait so we don't know if it's nice, and then it turns out to be nice. And then you feel kind of good that it's nice, but at the same time, you're angry because they could have just let us know, and then we would have planned better. And so, like, some people could have been, they could have been taken advantage of. They could have messed up and lost out on a lot of value simply because Plarium keeps us in the dark. Yeah, and then we're going to pull some shards. So I hope I answered all of your questions. That's what the video is going to be about. I am Colred. This is Colred Plays Wait Shadow Legends. Let's get started. So let's start by going back to the Fusion event calendar, because we saw this coming, right? We saw that there was a Summon Rush here, but then there was a Hero's Path, and that was replacing a Dungeon Divers event and a second Shard event. Really, it's replacing a Champion Chase, but the rules of the Hero's Path are a Summon Rush. And we kind of knew that, like, at the beginning. We also knew that this was going to be a 2x weekend right here. So there was reason to think that maybe there'd be extra value during this Hero's Path. Now, it's a little bit iffy. You don't know for sure. How is this Hero's Path going to be built? Is it going to be expensive, or is it going to be relatively cheap to get those fragments? Now, we know that we can't avoid the Hero's Path because there are only 450 fragments total, and there are 100 in the Hero's Path, 50 base fragments and 50 bonus fragments, if you want to think of it that way, right? So we know that we're going to need the 50. If we just go for the first 50, that means we have to do the initial Summon Rush, and we have to do every other event. But if we skip this Summon Rush, we know we can get 25 additional fragments out of the Hero's Path. And if it's easy, maybe we could get 50, and we could potentially skip something like this Gear Enhancement event, right? That would be nice. So we'd end up with 100 fragments here. We'd skip 50, and we'd be good. We'd have our 400 fragments. Now, I wasn't sure that I was going to do that, but basically I was thinking I could get at least 75 out of the 100 fragments. And that would allow me to skip the Summon Rush. Now, the Summon Rush typically takes about 6 Sacred Shards worth of pulls in order to get, that. You can do it with other shards if you want, but I typically use Sacreds, and this is the amount. So it's about 3,000 points. Now, but with the Hero's Path, we know we're going to be doing dungeon diving. We're going to be able to get some points there. We do have the Ice Golem tournament, so there'll be a triple dip, which is nice. And you're thinking, okay, so I'll get at least some points with the Dungeon Divers, and maybe depending on how the paths are built, it might be relatively easy to pick up the fragments because we also expected that maybe there was going to be the soul in the hero's path. And there is. There is. So the soul is actually the big prize. And the fragments are just kind of on the way there. So this was, the thought process. I'm going to skip this summon rush, and maybe I can do this hero's path with 6 sacreds and some dungeon diving and actually get more fragments for the same resources. That was the thought. So now let's go in game and I'll show you how that actually worked out. As you can see, the fragments are all relatively accessible. You need keys to unlock each of them, but there is a soul at the bottom. That is the big prize. So spenders have something that they can kind of overspend on if they like this shard event, which what's not to like? It's a 2-time sacred event plus a progressive. So if you want to spend, you could definitely go for this. Now, as a free-to-play player, I'm probably not going to go for the 5-star soul. It's just too many shards. But that being said, let's go ahead and look at what's actually available. So I have calculated what I need to get 3 of these sets of fragments, 75 fragments. So the first thing I need to do is come down and get one of these keys, either the one on the left or the right here, the intermediate key. But I do need to go down further and get another key. You need to get 2 keys on one side. The reason is because you have to unlock the other side and get the 3rd key because you need a key for each set of fragments, and I need 3 sets of fragments. So I need a key here, that's 2. I need a key here, that's 3. So you get the first, kind of unlock the other side, get the second. You can go down for the 3rd on either side, whichever side you like. And then those are your 3 sets of fragments. Now, if you're going for the 4th set of fragments, you'd have to come down the middle and get this, but you'd also have to get another key. So that'd be another 8,000 for the key in terms of points. And then you could go a little bit further and it looks like 6,500. So another 10,500 points for the 4th set of fragments. And that would allow you to skip another event if you wanted to, but you don't need the 4th set of fragments. You only need 75 fragments. Skip the summon rush, do all the other events, and get 75 fragments here, and you're all set. So I've calculated that out, and it's about 51,500, something like that, 51,250. So it's just over 50,000 points in order to get these 3 sets of fragments. But if we look at it from the standpoint of what would I have needed to do if I did the summon rush, right? So assume I completed the summon rush, then I only need 50 fragments here. And the way to get 50 fragments, the best way to get 50 fragments would probably be to come down, get the same 2 keys on one side, and then get that side's fragments, and then get the middle fragments, right? So what I'm doing extra is I'm getting the other side as well, and that includes the key. I need the 3rd key. Right. So if we look at it that way, we can actually figure out exactly how many points we're spending over the 50 and then compare that to the summon rush. So here we have 1,000, 5,000, 7,500, 10,000, 11,000. Looks like it's 11,000 points that we need to spend in order to get those additional fragments that we would have gotten from the summon rush. Now, if we look here, we can see that, well, a sacred shard is 4,500 points. So we're looking at roughly 2.5, just under 2.5 sacred shards to get these fragments, where we know it would have taken 6 sacred shards to get these fragments from the summon rush. So we're saving basically 4 sacred shards. That's a lot of sacred shards. Plus the sacred shards that we do pull are all going to be spent during a 2 times event plus a progressive. That's so much extra value. I like the rewards here. I don't know if the rewards during the summon rush would have compared. Probably, maybe. So we could always do that comparison if somebody wants to. But I don't think you need to. You can just say, I'm saving 4 sacred shards. And that's before you're actually doing the dungeon divers points as well. Because dungeon divers points work here as well. And you can see I've saved 11,000 dungeon divers points, which is not a lot. That's not a lot. That wasn't very hard to do. I was kind of playing casually. Just, doing the tournaments, getting into Spider's Den a little bit to get some silver. And yeah, so, that's not hard. If you wanted to grind this, you could definitely triple this easily. And this right here, 11,200 points, that's about 3, not quite 3 sacred shards as well. So I'm saving 3 sacred shards there, plus the 4 that I'm saving, from the 25 fragments. We're talking about 7 sacred, I'm saving 7 sacred shards worth by doing this hero's path, that's massive value. That's massive value. And Plarium isn't like shouting this at us. They're just like hiding it, and we have to guess about it. Now, I will say I think this is one of the friendlier paths that I've seen. I don't know how friendly it is to actually get the soul because I'm not going for it. I didn't calculate that. But it doesn't seem overly difficult because you already have to go down here to get one of these keys, which means you could just add 50,000 points to what you're doing for these 75 fragments. So that's about 11 shards worth, right? 11 sacred shards. That doesn't seem awful. That doesn't seem awful. And you throw in the dungeon divers, and again, if you had hit that pretty hard, you could probably get this soul for relatively cheap, even as a free to play player. There's lots of nice, juicy kind of prizes down here with the tomes, and all of the, the soul stones and stuff. So, yeah, it's even got a cool little avatar frame, which is not bad. See the spring, the flowers. Okay, cool. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I have to pull my shards. So now I have to figure out how many shards I have to pull. It looks like I've got to get to about 51. So I need to pull 40,000 points of shards. Now, I guess that's nine sacreds. 9 sacreds. Yeah, that's 9 sacreds. The thing is, for this one, ancient shards are worth 450. So a 10 pull of ancient shards is actually worth the sacred shard. That's never been true before. So we'll go look at my stockpile. It's not too bad. I've got 23 sacred shards. And we do have a progressive chance for a faction guardian. He's the dwarf. I don't have any faction guardians at all. I've got a lot of good dwarves. A lot of good dwarves. So it would definitely be worth it here to pull Black Tusk. Admiral Black Tusk would be great. I've got Newt built. I've got Tormund built. I've got Goffred built. I've got Brogni and Trunda built. I've also got Geomancer built. I've got Runekeeper Dazdirk. I've got, who else do I have? I have somebody else. I have Melga. Not Melga. I have Morag. I think I have Melga too. Melga and Morag. So I've got a ton of great dwarves. And it would be nice to have an actual not faction guardian, faction unity champion. Don't have one of those anywhere. So yeah, that'd be cool. So I didn't pick this guy. I know that there were different faction unity champions over the weekend. I was just waiting to see how many points I got from my dungeon diving, and it turned out to be 11,000 points. And here we are, an hour away from the end, and that's why I'm up at 2:30 now, 2:30 a.m. in order to go ahead and pull this. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pull this. I do think that, we might pull some ancient shards just to save a couple of these sacreds. So we'll start. We'll see. Maybe I won't. I need 9 of these, right? So that would take me down to 14, but maybe I'll stop at like 16 or something and pull 10 pulls of ancient shards. We'll have to see. What else do we need? We need a climber. We always need a climber. That's what we need. So let's go ahead and see what we get here. I like pulling during 2 times sacred shard events. I don't do it all that often because usually during fusions, you have to pull your sacreds during no event weekends. And then you pull, your voids or your ancients during the 2 times events. So this is a rare treat. Plus it's a progressive, which is really nice. We started off with 3 epics. Let's keep going. I don't really, there are a few epics I could still empower. I have some that need, a couple more copies. But I have a lot of the ones I use are currently +4. Oh, I have that's nice. Signy. I think I was missing her. All right, and this is just a cold batch of shards, apparently. So that was down to the 16. So what was that? That was 8? No, that was 7. 7, right? Yeah, so I think I'm going to swap over to the ancient shards. I'm going to do that, and we're going to do 2 10 pulls here, and we'll see if we get lucky. We didn't hit on the sacred shards. Annex, I don't know if Annex is +4. He might have been +3. I think he's +4, though. All right. Gorgorab is probably like a +1. I don't really use that champion. Come on. Nope, nothing. All right. Let's see where our point total is. 51.7. I think that should be enough to get all of what we need. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to go, let's see. Specific substat. Types of artifact. Yeah. I think substats are fine. And then let's grab the coins. I'm going to come over here and grab the soul stone. Coins. We got to go down here. Oh, you know what? I don't know which ones. I think I need these. Grab this. You know what? Maybe I should have come down the other side now that I think about it, because I would have loved to get this Immortal Soulstone. But I think that's okay. Question is, do I want these Eternal Soul coins or do I want the Immortal Soul Essence? Let's get those. All right, now we got to come down here and get this. All right, so unlock this. We got 2 keys. Get those fragments. Get this key. And now I think we got 2 keys, right? So now we can get everything we need. So now we just come down here, get this glyph, open up this one. Now we do 4-star haste glyph is nice. Do we have the points? We do. In fact, we're 1,400 points tall. So the question is, what would it take to get a legendary tome? Would be 2 sacred shards. The soul would be 10 sacred shards. Actually, 9 sacred shards. This stone would be about 6 sacred shards. Well, maybe 7. So legendary tomes are, I've saved so many sacred shards and I'm sitting on 16. I'm like, that's a pretty good number. Maybe I'll just pull 2 more, see if I get lucky with the 2 times event, and then also get a legendary tome. And that's it, because I'm not pulling past that. So why don't we do that? Okay. Maybe we'll get lucky right here. If we're not, we're just building our mercy counter. Come on. End on a note. All right, that's it. So we'll go back and get our legendary tome, which is always a good thing. I need tons of legendary tomes. And then maybe I'll do like a couple little dungeon divers to get 500 points to like pick up some gems or energy or something. All right, so that was it. That was not, it was not exciting. We didn't hit on anything. That's very disappointing. But we're close to mercy, so if there's a 1+1 that comes along, we could do that. And if not, we still have 14 sacred shards. That'll get us through the next fusion, no problem. We didn't spend that many ancient shards, so I got to start saving up those again. And yeah, we're in a pretty good place. But again, that Wait Shadow Legends mentality is in full effect. It's definitely been helpful for the last few fusions. Let me know what you think. Are you kind of trusting the idea that we can wait until the end of a fusion or a Titan event? Or are you still suspicious that Plarium's going to hose us one day by flipping the script and making those events really super expensive, and then we're stuck and in a bind because we have to do it to complete the fusion? So I want to hear your comments in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think. And yeah, we'll keep talking about this because I do think it's an important consideration when we are planning these events. I want to make sure I'm presenting you with the best information possible. All right, that is it for me. I am going to put my broken glasses down and go to bed. That's it for me tonight. Thanks so much for hanging out. I have been Colred. I will see you in another video soon.